Welcome to our course on how to apply for temporary residence and work permit in Poland. If you are a non-EU citizen, want to live and work in Poland legally, this guide is for you. We will break down the process step by step from gathering the right documents to submitting your application and handling any challenges that may arise. Let's get started. So, after this course, you will be able to estimate your own situation. After this course, you will know when, why, and where you can apply for temporary residence permit. You will get all necessary documents which are required by Voivodeship office. You will complete an application form correctly. You will feel free mailing or visiting Voivodeship office. And the more useful things for you are here. So you are in Poland, you have valid visa or temporary residence card, or you came to Poland visa-free travel. Look at your passport. You will need some information from it. I will tell you later when we will fill in an application form, but now a quick look on some of the information. Surname, name or names, passport number, validation. I think every foreigner passport has the same information. Okay. Here you can see a Polish national visa and some important information for you, and it is of course validation of it here. You should remember this date. This is the last day of your legal stay in Poland, and it is also the last day you can submit your application for a residence permit to get positive decision. Here is decision for temporary residence permit issued by Voivodeship office. The temporary residence permit has been granted until October 26, 2026, so applying after this day causes refusal to initiate proceeding. Odmowa wszczęcia postępowania. Holders of biometric passport from certain countries can enter Poland without a visa under the visa-free travel scheme. This allows stays of up to 90 days within a 180-day period. Here I give you a link to Schengen calculator. Use it to track your permitted stay to avoid overstays and penalties. So, now we already know the deadline for submitting the documents and the basis of your stay in Poland. And if you plan to stay in Poland for over 3 months for work, apply for temporary residence permit in person before your visa, residence card, or visa-free travel expire. Submitting on time ensures you can legally stay in Poland while your application is processed. Well, we are moving towards a very interesting theme, required documents. Let's start with the basics. Here you can see which documents need to be submitted and what needs to be done to initiate proceedings. When applying for temporary residence and work permit in Poland, it's crucial to ensure that your application is complete and accurate. So you could avoid formal deficiencies that could delay the processing of or lead to rejection. So here we go. This is the first page of the printed application form. It must be fully completed in Polish and be legibly. We will learn more about it in the practical section. The next is for photographs. Just tell the photographer that you need a photo for a residence card. Most photographers know the required dimension and specification for a residence card photo, but if they don't, show them the requirements from the text. The next one, a photocopy of a valid travel document. You must have your passport and present it to the person receiving the application. The next document is Annex number 1. Generally, Annex number 1 is completed by employer as it contains details about the company and the terms of employment. However, if you know all the necessary company information and employment conditions, you can fill out the form yourself, but remember that the employer's signature is required on the document. When applying for temporary residence and work permit in Poland, applicants are required to pay a stamp duty fee of 450 zł. I strongly recommend you to check appropriate bank account on the official websites of your voivodeship office or attend an information point of voivodeship office to get such information. So these documents are necessary to initiate the procedure. If you submit an application without any of the above mentioned documents, you will request to supplement the formal deficiencies in the application. The procedure may be initiated only after the missing documents have been supplemented within the specified deadline and positive verification by the voivodeship office. Moreover, to issue a positive decision, it will be necessary to attach the documents which I mentioned further. So, health insurance. Foreigners applying for a temporary residence permit in Poland must submit proof of valid health insurance. Below are requirements. The insurance policy must cover a minimum of 30,000 euros in medical costs and must be valid both on the date of submitting the application and on the date when the decision is issued. If the insurance policy is issued in a language other than Polish, it must be translated into Polish by a sworn translator. So, if you have private insurance policy, you should apply it with proof of payment for the policy. If you already have an employment contract or civil law contract, you can include the following documents in your application for residence and work permit. ZUS confirmation registration for social insurance, ZUS RCA for the last 3 months, and confirmation of contribution payments by the employer. The documents must be valid and reflect the current status on the date of submitting the application. And these documents you can receive from your employer. Just tell to your employer that you need these documents for your application. So, if a profession which you perform is regulated, you must submit documents confirming your professional qualification, which may include diplomas, certificates, decision on the recognition of professional qualification in Poland. I'll give you an example. If you work as a truck driver in Poland, you need to provide specific documents for example, valid driver's license, medical, psychological certificate of professional competence, and so on. Labor market test. You should attach to your application a copy of the information from the Starosta labor market test Make sure the labor market test is issued no more than 180 days before your application submission, as it has a validity period. There are many exemptions where this document does not need to be attached to your application. Examples of such cases I will tell you later. The Act on Foreigners requires proof of secured accommodation when you submitting an application for a temporary residence and work permit. For example, rental agreement. When you get a decision, you should pay 100 zloty for card. It is administrative payment on bank account of voivodeship office. You should check bank account details on the official website of your voivodeship office. Although voivodeship offices strive to follow consistent rules in handling cases related to granting temporary residence permits, these procedures may sometimes vary. In accordance with Article 64, paragraph 2 of the Code of Administrative Procedure, the office had the right to request additional documents, statements, or explanation if deemed necessary to resolve the case. Some offices require 2 copies of the application, while others need only 1. Some request 3 copies of the first page passport, while others accept just 1. On the websites of individual offices, you can find information about how many copies of documents need to be submitted. During the proceedings, ensure to inform the voivodeship office promptly about any change in your employment, address, or contact details. Checking the completeness of your documents before submitting your application for a temporary residence and work permit is crucial because avoiding formal deficiencies. Missing documents can result in the office requesting additional paperwork, which will delay the processing of your application. Speeding up the procedure. A complete application allows the office to proceed directly to substantive review, reducing the waiting time for decision and maintaining legal residence. If you fail to provide all the necessary documentations on time, your application may be left without consideration, what could lead to your stay becoming illegal. I also recommend you to check the specific requirements on the website of the voivodeship office responsible for your residence, as different offices may have slightly different expectations regarding documentation. In voivodeship offices with the highest number of foreigners, the official websites of the offices are well developed and full of useful information about the application process. However, the main challenge is the limited personal contact with the staff of the foreigners department. On the other hand, in voivodeships with fewer foreigners, direct contact with the office is much easier. You can visit the information desk and obtain the necessary information without significant difficulty, often after making an appointment by phone, online, or by simply joining the queue. Let's go to the practice. Okay, you want to stay in Poland more than 3 months, and the purpose of your stay is work performing.